Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to make a personalized pen using just a regular big pen and thread. And all you'll need is, besides the pen and the thread, are tape, scissors, and super glue. That's pretty much all you'll need for it. So before we get started, what I did is on the pen, since I'm going to use red for the letters, I went ahead and cut out 10 pieces of thread. Made sure that they're longer than the pen. And if you do this first, then you don't have to worry about putting down the pen that's already been wrapped with the black. You'll have it ready. So you go ahead and do that first. So now we're going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, this is a regular big pen. You could choose, if you want to keep the cap for the pen, all you got to do is just start from right here. But if you don't want to keep the cap, you can start further down. For this case, I'm going to go ahead and start right at the very bottom, as low as I can. I don't care about keeping the pen, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it with black. And for this pen, I'm going to go ahead and use the name Christy. And to begin, you just need a little piece of tape, not that much. Oh, one more thing also, you need tape for the, you also need tape. I don't know if you can see that well or not, but I put a piece of tape around here. Make sure that they're not overlapping. They need to be flat out, right next to each other, as close as you can. So you wrap the tape, and then you just leave it like, not even that much. It's about that much of the tape is covering it, because you don't want a big piece of tape, because it'll just create more problems. So anyways, to get started with the pen, you go ahead and take just a little piece of thread, come up this way, and you are going to go ahead and tape that down. And that's just to hold it in place. You could try to use super glue or crazy glue, but I haven't had any success with getting the glue to stick to the pen and thread. So go ahead and get started at the furthest point, lowest point, I mean. So basically you're just going to start wrapping it around. And what you want to do is keep the thread nice and tight. And you want to make sure you have good grip on the pen, because if that pen lets go, then everything's going to unravel. You're going to go ahead with the black until you get to the point where you want to start the name. Since I'm using Christy, that's five-letter name. I'm going to start about right here, and it should end me like about right here. I'm still not good at figuring out exactly where to begin, but once you've done this enough, you'll kind of get the idea of where to end, where to begin and where to end. And it'll just get so much easier to do. Like, you'll do them faster and faster. Okay, so we've come to the point where I want to start the name. So what I've gone ahead, I showed you this earlier, I put a piece of tape going across. So all you're going to do is just grab it and kind of like stick it down as straight as you can. And then we're going to go ahead and keep go on with the red. Okay, so we've reached the point where we're past the tape. So now we can start our letters. Normally for these kinds of pens, if you want to do a design like a star, a heart, or whatever you can, you just start it a lot sooner and end it with it if you like. I'm not going to show you how to do that because honestly I'm not that good. I'm just getting the hang of doing the letters. But hopefully one day when I've mastered it, I can show you how to do it. So anyways, like I said, for this one, we're going to use the name Christy. And I'm going to number each thread from 1 through 10, starting from left to right. So that way when I tell you to pick up or bring down certain numbers, you'll know which thread I'm talking about. So we'll start with 1 on this side and then with 10 on the right. So right now we're just going to leave them all down. And we're going to do 4 turns with the black around the pen. Make sure to keep it tight and bring it down. So you want to bring it down and tighten it at the same time. So now you're going to leave 1 and 2 down, and you're going to leave 9 and 10 down and bring the rest up. Just like that. And you do 4 spins around. Bring it down. You also want to pull on the thread to make sure that it's getting tight. Make sure not to pull on it too hard because the threads will come out. You just want to give it like just enough tug to kind of like make sure that they're straight. There's no lump or anything like that. So now we're going to go ahead and bring them all up. And like I said, you want to make sure to keep them all side by side, not overlapping. Another thing is it's also important to try to keep the numbers exactly, like 1 being 1 all the way through. It's not always going to be easy. Sometimes they'll crisscross. But as long as you could manage to keep them together, I guess it's all that's worth it. And we're going to do 4 spins, and you want to pull on the red just to make sure it's tight. And there you go. There's the C. Hopefully you can see that. So now the R, we're going to bring them all down. You're going to go around it 4 times. And now you're going to do is you're going to leave 1 and 2 down. You're going to bring 3 and 4 up. You're going to leave 5 and 6 down. And you want 7, 8, 9, and 10 to come up. So now we're going to do 2 spins around. Okay. So now you've done the 2 spins. You're going to leave 1 and 2 down. You're still going to keep 3 and 4 up. You're going to keep 5 and 6 down. And you're going to bring 7 and 8 down. And bring up 9 and 10. And you're going to do 2 spins. The reason why I'm doing 2 spins instead of 4 as I did with the C is because the R has that extra, the leg that comes down, so we want to make sure we don't make it long, so we're doing less spins through each one. Now if you get confused or you don't remember if you're doing it right or anything like that, all you got to do is just get them all and bring them up, and you can start to see the letter as it's going. And so far it looks like it's coming out good. Okay, to finish the R, we're just going to bring 7 and 8 up, and we're going to do 2 spins around. Okay, so now we're going to close off the R, and we're going to do 4 spins around. So there's the R. Hope you can see it. Okay, so now the eye is really simple. It's just, you're just gonna bring all of them down. And you're gonna do 4 spins around. And you're gonna just bring them back up. And do 4 spins around. Yes, it's also another simple one. On this one, you're gonna bring them all down, except for 7 and 8. And you're gonna do 2 spins, and then you're gonna bring it down, and you're gonna bring up 3 and 4. And you're gonna do 2 spins. And now we're gonna close it off, so we're gonna bring them all up. So once you get it up there, you're gonna do 4 spins. It's always going to be 4 spins between each gap, between each letter. And again, you just want to pull on it. And there's the S. Now if you want like a wider S, you could do 4 spins in between each section. I just did 2. So now for the T, we're going to leave 1 and 2 down and bring them all up. And we're going to do, let's do 4 spins. And now we're going to leave them all down. And we're going to do 4 spins. We're going to go ahead and bring all of them up except for 1 and 2. Those are going to stay down. Do 4 spins. And now we're going to do them all. We're going to close them all up. And do 4 spins. So now as you get closer to the top of the pen, it's going to get harder and harder to keep it tight, but you gotta try your best to hold on to that pen, because like I said, if you let go of it, everything will unravel, or at least a lot of it will, especially when you're that close to the top. So now go ahead and do the I again. Okay, and then for the E, you're gonna bring them all down. You're gonna do 2 spins. And then we're going to take 1 and 2, leave those down. 3 and 4 are going to come up. 5 and 6 are going to stay down. 7 and 8 are going to come up. And 9 and 10 are going to stay down. And we're going to do 4 spins. And now we're going to gather them all. We're going to go up, so we can go ahead and close it. So once you get to the end, I kind of started, as you can see, I kind of started the name a little too late. I should have started it about right here. But like I said, once you do this more often, you'll get the hang of where to start and where to end. You might even be able to do designs and all that other stuff. Now when you get to the end, a lot of people like to leave this hanging out as a little decoration, just a little something hanging out. Or they like to braid it or whatever. I don't like to keep it. I usually just end up cutting it, but I usually make sure that I have more of the black thread going over it, so it doesn't easily come out just with those 4 pieces of thread right there. Now at this point, actually what you might want to do is, you might find it easier, is just take a little piece of tape and just tape it down. Okay, so you can try pulling on it, and then with your other finger, just hold on to that thread. Let's try that. There we go, someone did it. Now the piece of tape is bigger than what I wanted to be. In this case, you could take an X-Acto knife or some scissors, whichever will work better for you, and just kind of like carefully cut it off. If you use any blades or even with scissors, please be careful. I've had an X-Acto knife slip on me before, and it just wasn't pretty. Okay, so that's going to be messy, but that's okay because we're going to cover it up anyways. So now once you get past the red and all this A lot of people like to come up to the top, they'll remove the cap and just stick the thread in there. I have another way of doing it. Basically what I do is I take the thread and I kind of loop it like this. So you have the thread, you're pulling on it, you kind of loop it, you grab onto it with this hand and you spin it. So what you're doing is you're grabbing the bottom part of the thread and you're hiding it under the other thread. You see that? You just kind of do that and you just keep going, you just keep looping it around and around because you want it to just stay at the bottom. So, and make sure you keep it tight and make sure you're pushing the thread down so there's no gaps. And that's basically all you do. If you run out or if it gets too small, all you gotta do is just pull on the thread and you get more. So you just keep going until you get to the point where you want to stop. And that's where you pull the thread in, which I will show you in a bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. And now what you want to do is you want to go ahead and just pull on this side right here. That'll keep it nice and tight. So what you're basically doing right here is you're using the top thread to keep this thread from unraveling. And you want to cut it as close as you can without cutting the rest of the thread. And this is where the super glue is going to come in handy. You just put little dots here and there and you just wait for it to dry out. So here's the letters. I know it came out a little crooked. This is what you want to watch for at the end. When you're taping the other ones down, you see the E is kind of crooked. Make sure that they're all straight before finishing. But anyways, there it is. Hope you can see it good. It's probably blurry, but anyways, you get the idea. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you enjoy making these pens.